In 2016, one of the most trusted names in your laundry room recalled 2.8 million washing machines. Not because they ran loud, not because they wore out early, but because the tops were physically blowing off mid-spin. 34 models, over 700 reports, 9 injuries, including a broken jaw. That brand still sells more washers in America than almost anyone else. Here's the part nobody tells you. 2 washing machines sitting side by side in the same store, one $1,400, one $700, can come out of the same factory with the same guts under the lid. The only difference is the badge and the story stamped on the front. Today we expose the 6 washing machine brands robbing you blind and the 5 that are actually worth every penny. Number 1 on the worth it side is built like a commercial machine and lasts 25 years. But first, the ones cashing in on a name they stopped earning a long time ago. Number 6. Maytag. The Maytag Man. The lonely repairman with nothing to do because the machines never break. That campaign ran for 60 years, and it worked so well that people still pay a premium for the promise today. There's just one problem. Maytag hasn't been an independent company since 2006. Whirlpool bought it, folded it into the same plants, the same parts bins, the same engineering teams that build Whirlpool's own machines. So when you spend $1,100 on a Maytag top loader believing you're buying legendary dependability, what you're actually buying is a Whirlpool with a different control panel and a $200 to $300 markup for the logo. The Maytag Neptune front loader from the early 2000s became one of the most notorious class action cases in appliance history. Mold and control board failures that buried the lasts forever myth in court filings. Modern Maytags are fine machines. That's the point. They're fine. They are not better than the cheaper Whirlpool sitting one aisle over with the same drum, the same motor, the same warranty. You're not paying for an engineering advantage. You're paying for a lonely repairman who retired decades ago. When the reputation outlives the company that earned it, the price tag is just nostalgia with a spin cycle. Number 5. Frigidaire. Frigidaire is the badge people reach for when they want a real brand without paying real brand money. The catch is that Frigidaire is Electrolux's discount label. Same corporate parent as the premium European machines higher on this list, but built down to a price point instead of up to a standard. At $600 to $900, Frigidaire isn't outrageously expensive, and that's exactly the trap. The materials tell the story the marketing won't. Thinner plastics, lighter drums, control boards that owners report failing in the 3 to 5 year window right when the warranty taps out. Door seals on the front loaders wear early and let the smell set in. Service networks are thin, so parts crawl in over weeks while your laundry piles up. The math is the false economy you've seen in every category. You save $300 at the register, then you replace the entire machine in year 6, while a sturdier brand is still running at year 15. Cheap up front, expensive over a decade. Frigidaire sells you the feeling of a known name at a price that guarantees you'll be shopping again sooner than you think. Number 4. Electrolux. Now the parent company itself. Electrolux positions its machines as European precision sleek Swedish design, premium feature lists, prices that climb past $1,200 and keep going. The branding promises a different tier entirely. The ownership experience too often doesn't. Here's the problem with premium-priced complexity. More sensors, more electronics, more proprietary parts means more things that fail and more money when they do. Electrolux repair calls routinely run into the hundreds because the components aren't generic and the technicians who know the platform are harder to find. Reliability surveys put Electrolux squarely mid-pack, which is a brutal place to sit when your price tag is top shelf. You're buying the look and the spec sheet of a luxury machine and inheriting the repair bills of one without the longevity to justify either. When a brand charges flagship money for mid-pack durability, the premium isn't buying you a better wash. It's buying you a nicer-looking machine to stand next to while you wait 3 weeks for a control board. Number 3. GE. GE sounds like the safest possible choice. American Industrial Heritage. A name on everything from light bulbs to jet engines. Distribution in every store in the country. Except GE Appliances hasn't been GE since 2016. It's owned by Haier, the Chinese manufacturer. and the premium GE Profile line is where the markup hides. A GE Profile front loader can run $1,300 to $1,800. The pitch is upscale design, big touchscreens, smart connectivity. The delivery is a machine whose reliability doesn't scale with its price. Owners report stone-cold control board failures, mechanical gremlins in the dispensers, and error codes with no clear fix. The cheaper GE base models are honestly the more sensible buy, which tells you everything about where the Profile Premium actually goes. You're paying for the glass screen and the prestige positioning, not for a machine engineered to outlast its warranty. The name says century-old American manufacturing. The label inside says cost optimized under new ownership. At Profile prices, that gap is the most expensive part of the purchase. If you're finding this useful, subscribe. Every breakdown on this channel follows the money under the lid, not the marketing on the front. No brand deals, no sponsorships, just the parts list and the price tag. Number 2. LG. LG builds the most photogenic laundry room in America. The matte black towers, the giant displays, the app that pings your phone when the cycle's done. It is technological theater, and you pay for every act. Start with the design flaw baked into the category LG leans on hardest, the front loader. That rubber door gasket traps water, and water plus a warm sealed drum equals mold and that wet towel smell owners spend years fighting with monthly cleaning cycles. It's not a defect unique to LG, but LG sells the high-feature front loaders where it bites hardest. Then there's the smart feature tax. The Wi-Fi module drops, the app stops syncing, the touch panel freezes, and needs a hard reset. None of that washes your clothes any cleaner. And when the electronics on a $1,400 LG do fail, the repair isn't cheap, because you're now paying to fix a computer that happens to spin. LG's machines genuinely score well on raw failure rates. In some surveys, credit where it's due. But a low failure rate on an over-featured, overpriced machine just means you get to keep paying for gimmicks longer. You're buying a phone that washes laundry, and the phone is where the money went. Number 1. Samsung. This is the brand from the cold open, and the story is worse than the teaser. Samsung makes washers that photograph like a dream, and in 2.8 million documented cases, came apart like a grenade. The 2016 recall covered 34 top-load models sold for $450 to $1,500. The drum could lose balance at high spin, the top could detach from the chassis, and the result was over 700 reports of violent vibration and explosions, 9 injuries on record, and a class-action lawsuit that Samsung settled in 2019. That's not a forum complaint. That's a Federal Consumer Product Safety Commission recall and a check that cleared. And the through line didn't stop with that recall. Samsung's playbook is the same one that put it at number 1. Gorgeous design, sprawling feature lists, oversized screens, and a service reputation that owners describe as a runaround. Mechanical complaints, touch panels that die, warranty claims denied on technicalities, parts that take weeks while your clothes sit wet. The engineering chases the showroom, not the 15-year mark. Samsung sells you the most beautiful machine on the floor. It also sold 2.8 million people a machine that could throw its own lid across the room. When the most trusted brand betrays the one thing a washer must do, run safely in your home, that's not a markup. That's the most expensive lie on this list. That's the robbing side. 5 logos that outgrew the machine underneath them, 1 that outright endangered it. Now the brands that put the money into the drum instead of the display. Number 5. Amana. Amana is the cheapest honest machine in the store, and that's exactly why it earns a spot. A basic Amana top loader runs $500 to $700, about as little as you can spend on a new washer with a real warranty. Here's the secret. Amana is also a Whirlpool brand. Same corporate parent, same parts ecosystem, stripped down to the essentials and sold without the premium badge. No Wi-Fi, no touchscreen, no smell-prone front-load gasket. Just a simple mechanical top-loading machine that fills, agitates, spins, and drains the 4 things a washer actually has to do. Because the guts are shared with Whirlpool's mainstream line, repair parts are everywhere and cheap, and any independent tech in the country can fix it without a proprietary diagnostic laptop. Amana isn't glamorous. It's the laundry equivalent of buying the generic drug with the identical active ingredient. You skip the brand tax, you keep the reliability, and you spend the difference on literally anything else. Number 4. Whirlpool. Whirlpool is the honest workhorse, and the comparison writes itself. Remember Maytag at number 6, the badge you pay extra for? Whirlpool owns Maytag. The marked-up dependability machine and the sensibly priced workhorse roll out of the same company, so buy the source, not the costume. A Whirlpool top loader at $600 to $1,000 gives you simple, proven, repairable engineering with the largest parts and service network in the country. Mechanical knobs instead of fragile touch panels. Drums and motors that have been refined across decades of production volume. When something does eventually wear, the part is in stock at every supply house, and the repair is cheap enough that you fix it instead of replacing the whole machine. That's the entire value proposition. No gimmicks to break, no premium for a logo, no proprietary lock-in. Whirlpool isn't trying to dazzle you in the showroom. It's trying to still be running in your basement in 15 years, and it usually is. Number 3. Bosch. Bosch doesn't shout. There are no candy-colored displays, no app ecosystem begging for your attention. There is German engineering, tight tolerances, and a front loader that's genuinely built to last. Bosch machines are some of the quietest on the market, engineered to run in an open-plan apartment without you noticing. They're compact, efficient, gentle on water and power, and the build quality is immediately obvious in the heft of the door and the precision of the seals. Crucially, Bosch takes the front-load mold problem seriously, with drum and gasket designs and self-cleaning cycles that actually keep the smell at bay instead of pretending it doesn't exist. At $1,000 to $1,400, Bosch isn't cheap, but it isn't charging Electrolux and GE profile prices for the same tier of machine. You're paying for quiet, efficient, durable precision, and every dollar lands in the engineering, not the marketing budget. Bosch banks on the fact that a machine that runs reliably and silently for years sells itself once the neighbor asks why your laundry room is so quiet. Number 2. Miele. Miele is the premium pick that earns the word premium. Where other expensive brands charge flagship money for mid-pack guts, Miele tests its washing machines in the lab for the equivalent of 20 years of household use and then builds them to survive it. The price is real. $1,500 to $2,500 and up. This is the top tier of the list. But consider what that money buys. Honeycomb drum designs that are genuinely gentler on fabric, stainless and metal where competitors use plastic, a German factory that has obsessed over one category for over a century, and a reputation among repair technicians as the machine that simply doesn't generate service calls. The features exist because they work, not because they photograph well in an ad. Miele is the Le Creuset of laundry. Yes, you pay more, but it's not bad value math, it's premium value math. If you keep a washer for 2 decades, and you'd rather buy once than buy 3 times, Miele is the brand that makes the spreadsheet work, expensive and honest about why. Number 1. Speed Queen. You've probably never seen a Speed Queen in a glossy showroom display, and that's the whole point. Speed Queen has been built in Ripon, Wisconsin since 1908, and it builds residential washers the way it builds the commercial machines in laundromats and college dorms to take abuse all day for years and not care. The numbers tell the truth, the marketing brands can't. A Speed Queen top loader weighs around 196 pounds. The featherweight smart machines from the robbing side weigh 135 to 156. That extra 40-plus pounds isn't Wi-Fi boards, it's steel. Speed Queen tests its machines to roughly 10,400 wash cycles, about 25 years in an average home, and backs that with the best warranties in the business up to 7 years, parts and labor on the top model, with lifetime coverage on the stainless tub. In independent rankings, it sits at the very top for warranty coverage, and near the very top for the fewest service calls of any brand. No touchscreen to die, no gasket to mold, no proprietary computer to fail out of warranty. Mechanical knobs, a commercial-grade motor, and a drum that outlives the kitchen it's installed next to. At $1,000 to $1,600, it costs less than a feature-stuffed Samsung or GE profile and lasts 2 to 3 times as long. If you ever find yourself reaching for a $1,500 machine with a glowing screen and an app, ask one question: will it still be running in 25 years? With Speed Queen, the answer is yes. With almost everything else on the robbing side, The answer is a class action lawsuit and a forced upgrade. Across all 11 brands, one pattern holds. The price on a washing machine almost never reflects what's under the lid. It reflects the screen, the app, the legacy name, the corporate badge, engineered over identical guts. The kitchen industry sold you coatings instead of cookware. The laundry industry sells you software and nostalgia instead of steel. Flip the machine around. Check the weight. Read who actually owns the brand. Find out whether the same parent makes a cheaper version with the same parts. The drum doesn't read the marketing brief. It just spins, load after load, until either the engineering gives out or it doesn't. Which brand surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. And if this saved you from a $1,400 mistake, subscribe. We follow the money under the badge every single time.